Medianoche.
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 Podcast.
Medianoche.
Podcast.
Medianoche.
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 Podcast.
1 2 1 2. Oh yeah, we're back again. What you thought I was gonna stop already? Nah. What's up, y'all? Medianoche podcast, based out of Miami, Florida. You know what I'm saying? Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Medianoche podcast. This is Art Morera. We're in episode 21. Alright, the guest that I have here today, he used to manage me. He's a very, very connected person in the city, very well insightful. Every time that I've spoken with him, takes time out of his day to like put me on to dope ideas and this and that. I got Breeze here. What's up, Breeze?
What's going on, Art?
Man, thanks for coming through, bro.
Anytime.
I woke up a little late. We're starting an hour late, but we're still like early in the day. I know you're busy, so let's not waste no time.
Let's get right into it.
Okay. All right. So look, man. So before I press record, you were telling me how you were going to go to the movies, right? You're hoping to go to the movies to stay on top of popular culture, as you said.
Yes.
Yeah. Would you mind elaborating on that now that we're on the mic?
Staying in tune with popular culture, I think it's a very important thing to do when, I'm gonna just say it's very important in the sense of keeping your finger on the pulse of what people are drawn to. Yeah. So whether it's the latest dance, the latest music, the latest trends when it comes to fashion, or even movies, you just want to stay in tune with what people are gravitating towards too. What are the things that people are wanting to invest time and money into, So you kind of see like, all right, this is what they like. How can I put my own twist on it, or how can I get involved in it?
I can see how that can kind of go the wrong way potentially. Like someone walks in, it's like, yo, listen, man, I know you want to make it, all right? But listen, I've been scoping things out. There's this drink that people are drinking. It's purple. It's kind of thick. You might want to try it out. I think it's called Clean or some shit.
Yeah.
I've seen them mixing it with some 7-Up.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously it's positives and negatives when it comes to that. But,
yeah.
You obviously want to see what people are gravitating towards, but you also want to see, like, how can you either redefine it? How can you either put your own twist on it to make it new? Or how can you use it to your advantage to kind of help shift the culture in your direction so that people are also paying attention to what you're doing?
Yeah, I definitely need to do a little bit more of that. I'm just totally in a hermit, bro. I have you see the sticker right here, Back to the Future 2?
Mm-hmm.
It's like on this like crate that I have. Like that's the era of movies that I like. I haven't gone to the movies in a while. The last time that I went to movies, my man Frank, you know Frank. Do you know Frank? If you don't know Frank, it's fine. His name is Frank. He's a friend of mine. But like he would invite me to the movies. The last time I went to the movies was to see Ghost in the Shell with Scarlett Johansson.
Wow.
It was a while.
You got to get out of your comfort zone, my friend.
I know, man. So many things have happened, But I mean, like the thing is, bro, is that like going out to the movies to me is kind of like, I don't know, I'm just like not there right now. So, but you do it not only as a pastime, you also do it just to scope out the market.
Well, I feel like I do it for both reasons. I do it because I want to see what are the interest of the general public, but also I do it in a way to kind of like disconnect because when you work in this business, which is for people who don't know me, it's the music business. When you work in this business as much as I do, you need a moment to disconnect.
Yeah.
And you need a moment to kind of like, I'd say, be human for a minute, because you get so caught up in deadlines and you get so caught up in, creating following up, emails, meetings, the whole 9 yards. So you just need a moment where you can just be like, you know what? I'm not stopping what I'm doing, but I also need a moment to like recharge and just be a regular human being among society for a minute, you know, go to the movies, enjoy myself, you know, try to do things where I won't burn myself out.
You know, man, like I've known you for a minute, Breeze. Just like you're here, and like you know, with social media, people stay in contact effortlessly without actually taking time out of their day to link up. So, which makes it for me, it makes it so much more special when people are actually in the same room, talking. You know what I'm saying? Like laughing at stupid things or whatever. Like, yo, now that I'm looking back, not now because I think about this pretty often actually, but like, man, we've been through some shit, bro. You know?
Yeah, we
like,
definitely have.
We definitely had our little like chapter in the adventure. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember when so like, you know, for the people that don't know, yeah, like you used to manage me. You know, you're even wearing the shirt right now, the Aviator Club shirt. You know, and like that was the second time in my life that I was offered to be a part of some collective. You get me? The first time was this group that I was in, but then like I was solo for a while, and then I was like, man, I need a manager, you know? And then I went to a hip hop show one day and I saw you. Remember that hip hop show that was by Brickell? It was like it was, you know how Brickell is separated from downtown by that body of water? Mm-hmm. And then on the Brickell side, there's two Publixes that are like 3 blocks away from each other. The Publix that's by the overpass on 7th Street.
Are you talking about Blackbird?
No, it's not Blackbird. Listen, the other Publix, that's like a couple blocks away. That's a little bit more low key. There was a venue there, like, and I walked. It's the day that I met you, man. Like, I walked up and like I was like, "Oh shit, what's up, man?" You was like posted up in front of the venue. Your hat was like mad low, looking like Styles P, and like, and I was like, "Yo, what's up, Breeze?" You're like, "What's up, Art?" You know, and I was like, yeah, what's up, whatever. We kind of like hit it off from there on some like music professional like colleague peer shit, you know. Mm-hmm. And then you were with hanging out with some artist that shall not be named because I'm not too fond of them, and it's funny, like I just try to like mouth the name of the artist to
and I totally didn't catch that.
It's all good. But listen, man, you was with some artists that I'm not really crazy about, so like I'm not gonna give them no light. And someone else, and then we went to go hang out in the car, and you showed me some songs, and I showed you some songs, and I was like, man, you know, this guy's cool, man, Breeze, bro, you know. And like the thing about Miami is that the upcoming artist circuit of Miami, everyone's on that like, you know, like almost like paranoid. Like, you know how people look like when they're on the corner selling drugs, they're looking around a lot and trying to stay like normal, like rubbing their Birdman hand rub. Yeah, nah, I'm just trying to do my thing, bro. And they look back left and right and like just not for police, but for other music execs that they want to like say what's up to or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Like you were never like that. You were like cool, calm, and collect. Just like eye contact with everyone that you ever spoke to. And like that's one of the things that was kind of like, damn, you know what, man? Like, I like this. This is a good frequency if I wanted to associate with anyone to possibly represent me, you know?
I feel like how I carry myself is just, you know, when it comes to one of the things that I've learned early on in this music business is relationships are everything.
Yeah.
And depending on the type of relationship builder you are, relationships are worth way more than money because relationships can evolve into opportunities. And when people respect you, when people think highly of you, when people feel like, you know, you're not the type of individual who would screw them over or steal from them, hurt them, you know, decrease their value in any way, you know, people tend to repay that back to you. So I've always, you know, tried to be somebody who, if I get in contact with somebody, you know, even if I don't ever work with you, it's always a mutual respect because I want to be respected in return. So I've always just try to, maintain good relationships with people. Now that's not always the case. You run across a couple of bad apples here and there, but at the end of the day, man, like when people talk about you and you're not in the room, what are people gonna say? Are people gonna say, "Yo, he's a good dude. He's always, XYZ," or "Yo, don't fuck with him. He steals from me. He held me back. Whatever the case may be." I try to be part of the latter conversation.
Yeah, I wonder what people say. Not if I had to wonder, because I try not to pay mind to it. I wonder what people would say about me when I'm not in the room, or like when I'm dead. It's like, yeah, nah, he was, he's this, he's that. I really hope that people don't try to like make me out to be something that I don't want to be because they caught me on a bad day or on a bad chunk of my life, and the way that I was handling my life at the time trickled down to how I interacted with people that wanted to talk with me.
Well, I think that just comes into how did you grow?
Yeah.
People will always remember you by first impression and by, how did you overcome an obstacle in your life? Did you allow the obstacle to beat you down or did you overcome it? An artist that I remember you really being heavily influenced by is someone like Eminem. And we all know how Eminem went through his drug addiction, but we also know how he overcame it and what was the final outcome of that. So, and that could be, an analogy for any artist who's overcome some crazy obstacle. So just, how did you overcome it? Did you grow from it? Did you become a better person from it? Did you become a better business person from it? Like, it really just depends on what was the final outcome of you going through that rough patch. Will people see that, oh, he was down on his luck, but he came up and now he's at this point, or did he just become one of those people who he caught a rough patch and he stayed there? People are going to remember you by your actions, not really by words.
I think that right now I'm like in a little bit of both. I'm in that transition period from like being stuck in it to like finally overcoming from it. You ever heard that story of that like it's this little story. It's kind of like a children's story to teach a moral about it, where like this kid saw this like butterfly coming out of the cocoon, but he was kind of like stuck in it. And this kid like felt bad that seeing this butterfly struggle, so he like squeezed the cocoon out to like help push the butterfly out. But then in the process of doing that, he kind of like messed up the part of the process where you gotta push through the struggle so that your wings can fully develop or some shit. And he prevented it from flying. Like that whole symbolism of like someone helping you out when you're going through a rough patch, which like doesn't let you truly struggle so that you can come up on your own merit and like really blossom. You know what I'm saying?
I think I know this is like a term that's being thrown around a lot right now, but you have to trust the process. Where you see yourself in the final outcome of the pursuit of your dream, sometimes we get caught up in our own mindset of like, yo, we only got this much time to do it. I've been doing it for this long. Why it hasn't popped off for me yet, or whatever the case may be. So I think that you have to trust the process, depending on, who you follow, when it comes to your religious beliefs. But to me, I feel like every negative or every down, there's a lesson in it.
Yeah.
And God is putting you through those obstacles to teach you a lesson. Now, you may not understand the lesson immediately, It may be something that you figure out down the line, but for you to get to where you're going, you have to have been through a certain thing so that when you finally get to your final destination, you are a strong enough person to handle it. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. Like, if it was easy for someone to become a celebrity, a musician, an actor, or whatever, everybody would be in entertainment, and there would be no one working regular jobs. Everyone would be this super amazing superstar.
Right.
But there would be no one working behind the camera to make sure that superstar is seen or heard. So you have to go through these obstacles because you're not ready to be where you're supposed to be yet. There are lessons that you have to learn as an individual, as a person, so that when you finally are blessed to be or do whatever it is that you see yourself being or doing, you know, you're capable of handling it and understanding it and being grateful for that opportunity. Because God doesn't do anything out of malice. He doesn't do anything to hurt us. He does things to kind of teach us. So your struggle is different than mine's, but we're still trying to get to the end result of what our dreams are. But to get to that, you have to understand what are the lessons in the things that you feel like have deterred you from your dream. Yeah.
I didn't want to interrupt. I just wanted you to get that whole segment out because it was very well spoken. Yeah, man, it's true, bro. Like, you know, man, like all the struggles that I've gone through, at first I was like cursing the world. Like, why am I getting the bottom, like, the short end of the stick in my life? You know, like a lot of people feel that way. They're like, man, you know, I help people out. I put out good energy. You know, damn, like when someone asks me for help with something, I help them. Why am I going through this? It's like, you know, it's like Job, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And what they don't realize is that the hardships that they're going through is part of like God's intent to condition you for what you're gonna be going through later, you know? Like I look at weird things. I look at things that happen in my life, Breeze, like in a weird way. Like when I was driving across the country a lot, I kind of saw it applicable for being like, you know what? Let me just get used to these long drives for when I hit the road, you know, with my music. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, damn, you know, it's pretty lonely out here. I'm in the middle of Utah. I want to call somebody, but there's no phone signal, and I'm like far away from Salt Lake City or whatever. So it's like, damn, let me find peace when I'm by myself, because there's gonna be some days where I'm gonna be in a room full of people and I'm super lonely in there. Let me become comfortable with the solitude so that when I'm around people, I can enjoy their presence being there instead of being around a bunch of people and like just feeling alone. You feel me? So there's definitely a lot of like symbolism, a lot of lessons, you know, in these things, bro. And I'm totally a late bloomer. Do you remember when you used to manage me, man? Like how I was like, you know, like it's almost like a little embarrassing to like admit to now, but like whatever, time has passed by, and like, you know, I've taken accountability for the way that I was in those years. But man, I thought I was the shit, you know. I thought I was the best thing walking, and that's dangerous. It's dangerous to think that, because what you're really doing is you're stepping on everyone, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, people feel like they can't be around you because they think that you're gonna try to make them feel inferior, you know.
I had that issue with you, and I had that issue with another artist who will remain nameless.
Yeah, you get it now.
Yeah. if it's the same artist that you were trying to mouth to me that I didn't catch, then yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So that individual, see, during that time period, I managed multiple artists at once, and everybody was at a different point in their career, and I don't know how to kind of like grade myself as far as how I was able to manage everyone at the different points that they were in their career, and how I was trying to help them get to the next level that they needed to get to. But that was a big obstacle that I faced, was how do I get these individuals to see that where you think you are, you're not there yet, because the public hasn't received you as what you feel that you are. Now, I'm not saying it's not good to be confident in your skill set. I'll never tell an artist never to be that. But if the sales aren't there, if the streams aren't there, if the followers aren't there, if the interactions aren't there, if the public reception isn't there, then I don't see how you can feel that you are greater than what you are, because it hasn't equated to anything yet.
You know what I would say was like an issue that I always had a hard time just like living with. Like, I would do these shows, and like, when you make music and you create a platform, like literally a stage, and you're like, you promote a show so that you can perform, and you also put some locals on so that they can kind of perform as well, like for a while, man, I was just like I was kind of like, you know what, man, these guys, like, they're cool people, but like, this is the way I was feeling at the time. I'm not saying this is the way I feel now. This is how I felt at the time. You get me? Disclaimer for all the listeners out there. Like, at the time, I was like, yo, all these homies came out for this guy, but I listen to his music when he's playing, and I'm not impressed by it. Like, I'm not. I would listen to these. That's like the gift and the curse of like making music, because if you're not in the right mentality, no one else is gonna be worthy of wowing you. Mm-hmm. And then you're gonna be like, damn, like, what the fuck does this person have that I don't have that makes all these people want to watch him? These 10, 15, 20 people watch him and like go outside and smoke or something, or like go and get a drink and not really enjoy the rest of the show, including when I go on stage. I was struggling with, at the time I was struggling with that shit. Now I'm like just so happy just to be in the room. You know what I'm saying? I'm just happy to see people doing good and just seeing other people throw their hands up for them and shit.
It's ego, man. Ego.
Yep.
Ego is a motherfucker.
It really is. It really is, man.
One thing that I've learned is there's a lot of ego and pride are one and the same, but they're also very different, if that makes sense. Like, your ego to me is external and pride is internal, but they work, how they work within us is very similar. And what I mean by that is, like, I've known artists who have so much pride to admit certain things. And I've seen so many artists who they allow their egos to spiral out of control, and it ruins everything around them. You know what I'm saying? So like, an artist could have this ego and they feel like, I'm the shit. You have to feel like, if I feel like I'm the greatest of all time, you got to feel like I'm the greatest of all time. But you got to remember, you don't define how people pick who their greatest of all time is.
Right.
You have to put in the work to get into that conversation. So that's ego. Pride is you not being able to admit that I'm not there yet, and I have a lot more work to do, and I haven't even scratched the surface of my talent and my potential. But because I've gotten X amount so far, and certain individuals are, whether it's friends, family, people at a show, people who've taking the opportunity to listen to the music, because they've kind of given you that hope that, you know, people are listening. You know, pride gets in the way. But
do you think that, like, for like people that that didn't carry themselves like the way that they should have, accordingly, I guess is the word, like they didn't carry themselves accordingly, do you think that sabotages careers forever?
definitely,
Forever.
yes.
Yeah.
Because once you've rubbed somebody the wrong way, especially someone in the music business who has the opportunity of helping you further your career, they're not going to want to work with you again, because what's the point? You know, you're going to have to put in so much work just to prove to them that you're worthy of the time, because time, just like money, is an investment.
You know, that reminds me of you saying that, like, you know, in the movie Dumb and Dumber, when Jim Carrey's character tries to tell a girl, like, so don't you want to be with me? She's like, what are the chances of you wanting to be with me? And she's like, and he's like, is it like 1 out of 100? And she's like, no, more like 1 out of 1,000,000. And then he's like, so you're saying there's a chance? Remember that?
Yeah.
So it's like the people in the music industry is that girl saying, yeah, me willing to work with you is like 1 in 1,000,000.
Yeah, because, bro, like, you got to think, if I've already invested time in you and you've already burnt that bridge, I could forgive you all day. Well, me personally, I can forgive. But to invest that same amount of time and effort and energy and resources and relationships and so forth, it's not worth it, because there's nothing. You would have to show me that if I was to consider it, there's a return on my investment. Because when you work with an independent artist, there is no return on an investment unless you create that return. So if you tell me, like, for instance, Denzel Curry's manager, Reese, who I recently met, that was a return on the investment, because they were able to catapult him into a position to where he's at today. To where, all right, the time, the money, the traveling, the touring, all of that, he got a return on his investment. But that's not going to be the same scenario with every artist. You know, some people aren't ready to make that transition over to being into a mainstream artist, you know, billboards in Times Square, and, you know, being on the Billboard Emerging Artist list, you know, and everything that comes with that. Like, a lot of people still have work to do on themselves as human beings before they can even, you know, put that same energy out to a crowd of 10,000 people singing your music. You know, like mentioning an artist like Denzel Curry, right? Which he's doing great, you know. Like, yeah, that doesn't even need to be like specified. Obviously, Denzel Curry is doing very good, but like, I remember like some years ago, man, like when before I went to California, like one of the reasons why I went to California Breeze is because I felt like I tried to reach out and build with like everyone in Miami. You name it, you name an artist, there's like a 90% chance that like I have already attempted to like reach out to him, be like, yo, what's poppin', man? Like, I know who you are, you know who I am? All right, word, hey, let's link up, let's smoke, let's chop it up. And I'll go to their crib, and like, they'll just be mad. Like, it's weird. Like, why would you invite me over to the crib if you weren't intending on building with me? You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if I extended my hand to you, you know? And I'll go over to their spot. I'll bring the trees. I'll bring a homie of mine. And, like, I'll just sit there in the room trying to build with this person that I'm aware is, like, also on their own merit, representing the city, putting out pretty good music, and seems like a cool guy. And bro, I'll sit there in the room with them, and more often than not, they're just like, like, I'd rather not be here right now. And I started to wonder, I'm like, is it me? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it me, bro? Like, what is the issue? Like, man, I remember I would go to like a hip hop show, and I'll say what's up to everyone. Not I'll walk around, like, as I'm going wherever I'm going, whoever I cross paths with, it's like, yo, what's up, man? You all right? All right, for sure. It's good to see you, man. They know what's up. People know that what's up about, like,
not feeling forced to have a conversation with somebody, but like being cordial with them in that 1 minute. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't understand. Like this whole mentality that I've been receiving from the majority of people that I tried to reach out with, and it just kind of left me mad bitter about Miami. I'm like, word, okay. So, if I don't fit in here, let me try my luck elsewhere.
Well, that's an easy answer to provide. The reason why you were getting that type of feedback is the same reason why people get that same type of feedback now. Look at Miami as a whole, right? Miami is, and this goes not just in music, but just in life. Miami is a transient city where 70% of the population is Hispanic, and the remaining 30% is other. So you have white, Jewish, Haitian, Jamaican, Asian, all in that 30%. And within that, everyone comes from a particular background. And within that, people and how they interact with each other is done in a certain way. So one of the mindsets that I was taught early on when I moved to Miami in 2009 was people aren't friendly here. This isn't a place where people are going to embrace you with open arms. You have to earn people's respect. You have to earn people's merit. You have to earn whatever it is that they feel like you have to earn from them for them to even open up to you, just in basic conversation. So when you're trying to establish these relationships, people already have that mindset from the jump. All right, Art's about to come through and we about to smoke whatever, but this ain't no funny haha. This you my homeboy since elementary type shit. This is gonna be, all right, what are you here for? And how does it benefit me as, a manager at the time? That was the biggest thing. People always wanted me to manage them. But the benefit for you would be, all right, I have someone who represents me who go out and do X, Y, Z on my behalf. What is the benefit for me in return? I'm going to put all this work. What am I getting?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there has to be a means to an end. So when trying to build with people, there has to be a means to an end. How is this relationship going to benefit both of us? And that's not just in the musical community. That's how people do business in the corporate world as well. I'm going to present you with this proposal or this idea or this concept that can benefit your company. How does it benefit the company on the other hand? All right, here's this new product. You have a potential to make $10 million. You make that $10 million, I get this. Like there has to be a means to an end. So if it's just a one-sided thing, which I get all the time, hey Breeze, I got this record, it'll blow up, I just need someone to get behind it. I get behind it and the record blows up. There's nothing on paper, a contract, an agreement, nothing that states, all right, this is what you get in return. So it's like everyone always has this one-sided way of looking at things when you got to make it to where both sides can win. So having the mindset of we're not friendly, and then having the mindset of, I'm going to present this person with this idea so that they can get this, but there's nothing in it for me. You're going to get some feedback that isn't like the greatest.
I think that like the thing that well, before I continue, I wonder how long that dog's going to be barking for.
Yeah.
Because, but listen, thank you, dog, for sure. The universe provides, man. But look, like I think that the thing that I was struggling with is like, all right, I've helped out like mad people, bro. Like that whole, how they say relationships are more important than money most of the time. So it's like, man, I've reached out to like a bunch of people and I offered to help them out in this way and that way. And like it was just a realization that not everyone has like your best interest in mind, but they want you to have their best interest in mind. And then I also consider, I'm like, you know what, man, a lot of people have done things for me. Maybe this is my karma, you know, maybe like this is just karma that I have to help everyone else out and kind of just take it, you know what I'm saying?
All right. Here's something that I like to tell people. And since you were actually there during this time period, think of everybody that I helped during that time period. All right? You and the other artists that I managed at the same time. Think of everything that you got out of it. Right? What did I get out of it in return?
Yeah, I can't really say much. I mean, like, I would say on the small scale, like, I try to, like, you know, yeah, I'm not going to go down the list of things, but, like, I remember I was trying to contribute, like, all right, bro, like, whatever, you know, I'm not going to get into the specifics, you know, but, like, I remember I was trying my best to try to contribute within my means somehow, like, yo, are you straight? Like, what's up? You need something? And I remember always feeling like, nah, this is not enough, man. Like, I wasn't really bringing no money in with my music. Like, the shows that I was getting, I wasn't really getting offered to get paid any money or even much money. Like, so I'm like, okay, word. This is if I were to approach this, if I were to describe this as a business, how successful is it if I can't afford to employ somebody financially where they can make something and feel good putting their name next to what I have going on, you know?
And that was a lesson that I had to learn during that time frame as well. Was, you know, I put in a lot of work for a lot of people and I didn't get anything in return out of it. And I don't regret the experience. I mean, it was a learning experience, but, you know, like I was saying earlier, God puts you in these situations so that you can learn from them. And I learned a lot from that experience, you know.
And also, like, if I may, man, like, one of the reasons why I was always like, yo, Breeze, why are you rocking with this person now? This person as well? Damn, Breeze, like, this one too? Like, on one side of the coin, I was like, yeah, Breeze is trying to establish all these relationships, so he's connected. On the other side, I'm like, he's trying to help. He's spreading himself too thin, helping all these people. And then you're managing me. I'm only getting, like, a very thin slice of, like, what I perceived as like the whole pie of that is your willingness to help, you know. So I remember I was on some like, damn, like, yo, Breeze, you're managing all these people, man, like chill with that, you know, like stop managing so many people. And then on the other side I was like, yo, like, I need more attention, essentially, you know? Yo, I need more energy from, if you're my manager, I need you to do this and this and that. And I started to feel real fucking douchey. And I was like, you know what, man? Like, I don't like the way this feels, like, on both ends. I think that I'm just gonna, like, you know, I'm gonna stop rocking with you, you know? And I remember being like, damn, the way I went about it was, like, so, like, unethical, you know? I was like, you know what, man? Let me just be an asshole. Like, I've been the nice guy for too long. I've been like almost like, nah, fuck that. And then like I remember it really messed up our relationship for a while, you know. So yeah, you know, my bad.
I mean, what I remember from it is, you know, you were in California and we were, you know, trying to maintain this long distance client manager relationship, and you were willing to put the work in, but the scenarios that were coming up were like opportunities that you wanted to jump on, but they weren't set up in your favor. You know, like the trip to Japan, or, you know, the currency show, or, you know, little things that came up. You know, there were things that they were great opportunities if they would have been planned out correctly. But since, you know, I found out about these things, you know, really late, and you wanted to just jump on the opportunity, and you had, you know, someone who was able to assist you from a financial sense to do these things, They weren't things where, like how we were saying, like they weren't situations where if someone was to help you, you'd be able to return the favor. You know, and I didn't want you to get stuck in situations where you're putting this work in and feeling like you're doing something, but then once you come off that high horse, you realize, oh shit, I just spent this much and I'm not in a position to pay that back. Or I'm not in a position to tell this person I can reimburse them in X amount of time for their investment. So, you know, and I know probably, you know, in the moment, it probably felt like, man, like he's stopping me from doing X, Y, Z. But in the long run, I feel like, you know, when you look back at it, like you kind of see where I was coming from with that. Because when people invest money into you, you know, whether it's an investor or a label, whatever, you got to look at it as a bank. You know, when you go to a bank and you take out some money, you got to pay that back. And they're going to give you a time frame to pay that money back. And then at that point, it's no longer about friendships. It's no longer about, you know, you're the homie. It's about, I did my end of the bargain. Now, where's your end of the bargain? So I don't look at it as, did it kind of mess up our relationship? Yeah, but I don't look at it as like it was like the end all be all. I was like, you know what? This is something that he's got to learn. And he has to learn it through his way.
And boy, did I learn it. Straight up. Hey, it's just to change the topic real quick, but still kind of, we're on the same topic. Can you tell me like the story of when you got the call from the Oakland Police Department about my lost bag with the hard drives?
Oh, it was very random. I think I was in the studio with another artist.
All right, hold on. Before, I'm gonna set it up real quick.
Okay.
All right, so like one night, I had flown out. I had paid a plane ticket to fly out my man Kimber to California so he can help film some videos for me because I was sitting on some bread, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, yo, come through. I got a Canon 5D, you know, that I went half on with my man Rev. We were like, yo, come through and film some videos for us, you know, whatever. He's like, all right, cool. So then the night of, like, Rev was in Miami, right? So I was just in Cali by myself. And then the night that Kimber was flying in, like, I was staying in Santa Cruz, and I was like, all right, let me drive up to San Francisco, San Jose, like, because it's a San Francisco airport, but it's not in San Francisco. It's in San Jose, which is like a half hour south, right? So I was like, all right, word. I'll just post up in the bay and wait for him to arrive, and I'll pick him up and whatever. We'll get it popping. So then, like, the night that he was flying in, I got do you remember that DJ that I was put onto in the bay? DJ Sean G, I think his name was.
I think so.
And like he had a show with Key, with Fat Man Key. Mm-hmm. And like, you know, my ex and I and Nixon, whatever, like we went over there just to kind of be there. It's a hip hop show in the Bay, you know? So I was like, word. So I was in the loop of shows that he was doing. So the night of, I check my Instagram and I see that he has a show in Oakland. So I was like, okay, cool, Oakland, whatever. So then I'm by myself. So I pull up and I park my car across the street of the venue, like right across the street. Like you open the front door of the venue and you look across the street and there's my car, you know? It was on the corner, but it was right there in plain sight, you know? So I was like, okay, cool. Let me, you know, I'll get out. And this is like where I made the mistake. I didn't leave all my things in the hotel room. I had my camera bag on me that had my MacBook Pro. I had a GoPro. I had Beats by Dre pills, the Canon 5D Mark III, and my hard drives. Right, just pretty much my little setup, you know. And I had it on the floor of the co-pilot seat in the dark, you know. And I was like, okay, cool. Let me just post up and say what's up to Sean G. You know, he was a pretty cool guy. And I'll just be here for a little while, and then I'll leave here and go to the airport. So I'm there for like not even an hour. I was in that venue. And like when I walk out, like my car window was smashed open. My passenger side window was smashed open. You see glass everywhere. And like that bag was gone. And I was like, imagine like your brain like breaking, you know? It's like, No way. Oh my God. I was hyperventilating. Oh my God. It actually happened. My shit got broken into. I was circling around the car trying to process it. You know how sometimes you go back to the fridge and you open it back up expecting food to be there? Mm-hmm. Like, I kept circling the car expecting the window to not be smashed open every time I went around it. I went around like 5 times. I was hyperventilating. I was like, oh my God. The camera, everything was in there. And those hard drives, I had just filmed the music video with Royce Rizzy. I had just filmed a music video with him for Momentum, and that video hadn't even came out yet. And like all the footage that we went through, everything, just everything I've ever done was gone. It was all on those hard drives. You get me? Mm-hmm. All the money that I saved up, hustling to get the camera and the MacBook and just everything is gone in Oakland, And I was like, you gotta be, in my mind, you gotta be kidding me, But no, the world was not kidding, bro. It would totally happen. Man, I got in the car, like, Kimber wasn't arriving. He hadn't even flown out yet because, it's like 3 hours ahead. So I called him. I was driving on the highway going like 100 miles an hour with a passenger side window open, broken glass everywhere, and wind. You know how, like, when you drive on the highway with one window open and, like, that air current, like, really just pushes from the side that it's open from? 100 miles an hour on the highway, and I'm calling Kimber, yo! Hey, you might as well not come because I don't got no camera for you to film with. Matter of fact, I don't have anything. How about that? I was laughing maniacally. I was just like, that's it, Like, that's it. My music career is pretty much done, And Kimber was like, yo, fuck, man. But look, man, I'm still going to come through. I'll just be there for you, I'll come through. I'll bring my Canon T3i, whatever. And I'll just be there for you, man. I'll be there. I'm your friend. I'm really sorry this happened. Just calm down. Just wait for me at the airport. And that's what I did. I paid like by the hour in the parking garage. And I pulled into the parking garage and I parked by one of those pillars that but the passenger side seat was by the pillar. So that for the next 8 hours and I'm there, no one sees a broken into car and doesn't bring attention to me, Because I remember being like, wow, they took my bag. But they didn't take this little bag of Girl Scout cookies that I have. Why didn't they take that? As well, But I was thankful that I at least had that so I can smoke and just decompress from this traumatizing experience, So Kimber came and like the entire week I was just making plays, just trying to make money. And then I came up with enough money to get this camera that I have now, the Nikon D750, right? And I was like, wow, like how the universe provides. I had nothing left to work with. Let me at least get a new camera if I wanted to make some new songs and be able to film and shit. That's the camera I've been using. And then I get the call one day from the Oakland, like 7 days later, I get a call from the Oakland Police Department saying, hey, is this Art Morera? Yes. And I'm thinking I'm in trouble. When the police calls you, like, what the fuck? It was a random number, so I just picked it up. Hello? Is this Art Morera? Yes. But he called me Art, not Arthur. So I was like, yeah? It's music, I'm thinking. Yeah, we found this bag that has this hard drive. And I was like, no way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, what the fuck? No way. No way. Come to find out, the person that stole my shit tossed the bag with the hard drive still in it. He must have seen that as no value. He just got the MacBook, the cameras, the Beats pills, Beats headphones. And they said that they got in contact with you. So like, how the hell? Okay, now tell me what happened on your side.
Well, that's a crazy story. I didn't know the whole story, so
I showed you that song. I have a song here where I say the story, but in song form. I haven't came out with that song yet.
So I think my memory is kind of fuzzy when it comes to this, but I think I was in the studio or on my way to the studio. I think I was in the studio with an artist, and the session hadn't fully gotten into motion. And I got this random phone call. And normally I don't answer unlisted numbers. I usually, if I don't have you saved in my phone, I'm not really going to answer. I'll let you text me or I'll let you leave a voice message, even though my voicemail isn't set up. But you know,
Get it together, Breeze.
I gotta get it together. But anyway, I just ended up just picking up the call because I just figured it might, because I was expecting another call that day for business. So I answered the phone, and it's the Oakland Police Department. Now, when he told me who it was, I'm already thinking, oh man, this nigga's in jail. He needs me to bail him out. Like, you know, something happened. He gonna tell. I'm thinking bad already before I think anything good. So he tells me, we're trying to get in contact with Art Morera. We have his stuff here at the precinct. And he tells me that. I'm thinking, how did he get Art shit in the first place? Because I hadn't talked to you about, you know, people breaking into your car or whatever. I think at the time we had already split. So,
yeah, that's right. That's right.
So we weren't in contact. So I didn't know any of this had taken place. So they called me, and I forgot how he told me how to get in contact with me. But you had my number listed somewhere, and they were able to find that and use that to get in contact with me. So they called me. They tell me that they got your stuff. So I said, all right, let me give you Art's number so you can call him. Because I'm like, because they thought that you were here in Miami. And I'm like, nah, he's somewhere over there. So I said, let me give you his number, and then you guys can reach out to him, and then he could probably just come by and pick it up whenever, if he's available. And like, all right, great. So I give them your number, and I guess, you know, they reached out to you and you were able to recover your stuff. But I didn't know that they took your laptop, the Beats pill, all that. I'm thinking everything is still together.
Nah, man. Like, all that was in the bag was my MacBook plastic cover that with all the stickers on it. You know, my MacBook plastic cover, all the cables. You know, like all the little USB cables, whatever. And then my hard drives and my iLock, my Pro Tools iLock that has the serial key for all the plugins. Mm-hmm. Like, if you think about it, only the really important stuff, the hard drives and the iLock. And like, what's funny is that, man, I was staying in Santa Cruz, right? And I had already came up on this Nikon D750. So I was like, all right, word, man. I want to document this miracle that came into my life, but I wasn't really sure how to do it. And I look back at the footage now, and I just have one little clip of me like connecting the hard drive to a new MacBook that I came up on, or not new, it's a used one, but like another one that I bought, you know. And like when it popped up on the desktop, you know, Morera, my hard drive, and I click on it, and everything's there. And I click on a quick video. I clicked on the Momentum music video, and it played, and I was like, oh my God, I got it. You know? Like, you know what's funny, man? Like, when I came out with that video, like, in my mind, I was expecting Royce Rizzy to, like, promote it heavy the way that I was going to promote it heavy. But, like, when an artist only hits you with, like, 2 or 3 little retweets, you know, because they're working on their own thing, and this is a side project. Like, if people aren't aware of that, they might get rubbed the wrong way by it. Instead of being happy that you even worked with this person in the first place and then did a music video as well.
But if I would have still been managing you at the time, I wouldn't have told you to drop the video. I wouldn't even put out the video or the song. I would have told you to wait, because after you dropped the song, he changed his name and he went to hiatus, and he came out as 24 Hours.
Yeah.
So I would have told you to have waited until he revealed to the world that he was 24 Hours, because then you could have caught some of that momentum, which is, you know, irony.
But that is ironic. But the reason why, like, I feel like it played out the way it should have is because, you know, Rizzy's like style in 24 Hours is completely different. That's a whole different approach on music, that high pitched auto-tune, like melody chorus music.
I mean, he's kind of back to that now, where like he's rapping.
For
you know?
real?
So like now he's kind of doing both.
That's
like
good.
like
That's
he's
good.
singing and he's rapping. But he was on the way out as Rolls Royce Rizzy, and he was transitioning into 24 Hours. So around the time where you were promoting the song and the video, he had already changed. You know,
But he still hit me with a couple like retweets and shit. I mean, now that I look back, I'm like thankful for the whole experience. Even though the filming of the video was a little funny, not because of him, but because the people that was with him, like saying some slick shit, and I was like, I don't know if I want to run the risk of like getting into a fight with this person and getting arrested and this whole shit. You know how it is nowadays. You can't just shoot a fair one. Most likely, someone's gonna either like call the cops or like come back and do some shit. You know?
Yeah, but then again, you know, when you're out there by yourself, you don't have any representation. You know, you gotta look at every experience. You gotta keep it business with people. You know, when you're interacting with someone offline, then yeah, you know, it's the homie, but when you're trying to do something on a professional scale,
Yeah.
you got to keep it business. So, you know, you're out there by yourself. So you might have been looking to them like, oh, this kid, you know, trying to, you know, come up or whatever the conversation on their end might have been.
Nah, but it wasn't with Rizzy. Rizzy specifically, he's cool as fuck. Royce Rizzy's a really cool dude. It's with the cats that he was riding with at the time that was saying some slick shit that I was like, word? Are we going there right now? And like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, you know, so it's just funny how, like, you know, bro, like I lost the bag and then I came back and like the video was there and all my music was there and everything. And how they hit you up. And it's just so funny, bro. Like, yo, California fucking beat me up, bro. Like, crazy. I'm not going to get into detail, obviously, on this podcast. But, like, you know what's up. Like, the shit that I was going through over there.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a turbulent experience at the time. And, you know, it put a lot of strain on a lot of relationships you had. It put a lot of pressure on you. It put a lot of pressure on all of us. But at the end of the day, you know, how did you come out of it? You know, did you come out of it as a better person, or did you allow it to beat you up? You know,
I don't know how I came out of it. All I know is I did. I mean, obviously, it ultimately resulted in me getting arrested and having to serve some prison time. But like the outcome of all that is like clarity and perspective.
mm-hmm.
And by the grace of God, I still have all this equipment I'm sitting on here. You know, like I have all this equipment, like whatever came from it. Yeah, damaged relationships, but now like where I'm kind of at in my life, Breeze, is like I'm just kind of like seeking atonement. You know, I'm seeking atonement for like everyone that I ever took for granted or that helped me out, and like I just wasn't there at the moment to reciprocate it, you know. Even with you, like sometimes I'll hit you up and be like, yo, what's up, can I help you with anything? And like I can't expect like overnight for things to just be all right, you know, like with everyone, not just with you. This is with everyone in my life, you know. So like one thing that I'm thankful about you for, man, is like you've been able to maintain a composed, good attitude. I think that you serving time in the military kind of contributed to like just everything seems so petty comparison to the shit that you went through, you know?
It does. And I'm not gonna lie, man. It's so hard to smile through the bullshit, because when I was in the military, you know, every situation was a life or death experience. And when I see some of the stuff that people do here and now in civilian life, you know, they make it out to be life or death, but it's petty.
Right.
But even though it's been quite some time since I was in the military, one of the hardest things that I still deal with to this day is the selfishness that people have. You know, like when I was in the military, everything was about the team. And no person was better than the other, regardless if that person was a higher rank than you. You know, the smallest, youngest person ate first before the oldest, most advanced person. You know what I'm saying? Like, you took care of everyone under you first, and then you took care of yourself, you know. But here in regular society, people like, yo, if you don't eat, I'm gonna eat. If you're not gonna eat that, I'm gonna eat it. Like, it's such a selfish mentality. It's such a, all right, if you're not gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. If you can't do it, I'll do it. If I don't think that person's worthy of it, I'm gonna go for it. Like, but this whole thought of thinking for self and I deserve it, me, I, like all these singular things. You could be less talented, you could be less experienced, you could be less anything across the board, but because you feel like you deserve it, you will shit on someone or you'll cut someone out or whatever. And I know not everybody has that mentality, but I see it all the time. I deal with it on a daily basis, and it's such a tiring and draining thing, especially coming from where I came from, where we would have no problem giving someone a shirt off our back. You know, we wouldn't have no problem helping somebody, giving them advice, giving somebody directions, taking somebody somewhere if they don't know how to get there. Like, it's just such a different place, and it's hard to deal with it because, you know, I have my moments where I really want to just smack the shit out of somebody, but I can't. But I have to maintain my composure because I know people just don't think like that. They don't view the world like that. They don't see that they don't think long term. And I think that's always what's separated me from everybody else. I've always looked at building relationships with people benefits me in the long run. People want instant gratification. You can't look for instant gratification in such a selfish world, because once you get it, then what?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the quicker it comes and it goes, then what?
Exactly. With me, I go long term. So if I'm building with you, I'm thinking long term. You know, you might want to work with me on a song or on your project, or you want to do something with me in regards to business or whatever the case may be. But you are going to want to have establish something with me long term in the long run, because you feel like, all right, I can trust Breeze. I can do something with Breeze. Like, Breeze brings value the same way that I feel like I bring value. You know what I'm saying? But people just think, I need this right now. I can do it right now. Let's knock it out. And then when it's done, if it wasn't executed properly, we all look crazy.
Yeah, I used to be like that, like running around with my head cut off, like desperate sense of urgency. But it's funny, like when you do a little bit, when you gotta serve time, like when time is taken away from you and you finally get your time back, you feel like you have so much time you have more patience than you ever exhibited, you know? And it's like, man, like it really puts things in perspective, bro. Like now the way that I go about things, I'm just so much more patient about it. I'm not really stressed out if something doesn't, get done by the end of the day. I'll just kind of like, all right, we'll just keep working at it tomorrow. It's fine, Yeah,
man. I mean, it's one of those things, man. I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I've learned is just patience. You got to have patience with people. People are going to try you.
Even the way you talk, like you can tell you have a lot of patience. Like one thing that I have is patience.
I had to learn, man. I had to learn, like, transitioning from the military and living a selfless lifestyle into coming into a world where everyone is selfish, and you meet people here and there who aren't selfish, but that's few and far in between. It's very rare. Like I'm lucky to say that I have friends and family who aren't selfish. People who think of me, people who look out for me, people who, You know, if I needed something, they'd be there for me, even if I don't ask for it. You know, I'm lucky to have that, but I can't say that for everybody else. I can't say that the person that I'll meet tomorrow will have that same mentality. You know, someone I'm gonna meet, people like in the music business, people always say this all the time. Like, they have a handful of friends and they have a ton of associates, and I didn't understand that until I had my moments where I hit rock bottom, where I was like, man, I'm reaching out to all these people who claim that they rock with me heavy, but then when I came to them with the issue, it was like, damn, I don't know, Breeze. I feel, damn, bro, that sucks. I feel sorry for you. Let me know how it turns out. I'm like, nigga, I didn't come to you with this for you to tell me, like,
Let me know how it turns out.
yeah, I'm coming to you for help. Like, you telling me, you know, we brothers, we this, that, and third. Like, where's the brotherhood? And everybody that I rock with in the military, like, they don't live in Florida. So it's not like I call them and be like, yo, bro, like, I need some help. Can you look out? You know what I'm saying? So it was a learning experience, but, you know, kind of going back to what we spoke about earlier, you know, these were lessons that I needed to learn. You know, these were trials by fire that God put me through that I needed to experience to get to where I'm at today.
Same with me, man. Trial by fire. That is totally like, yes. That's exactly what the fuck I went through with my life, man. But yo, you know that we've been talking for more than an hour?
No, I haven't even been paying attention.
We've been
Like,
talking-
I've seen, you know, people calling me, you know, via text message and things like that, and wanting to hit me up about different business things that I really don't want to talk about on a Sunday.
Nah, that's straight.
But
On a Sunday afternoon, no less. Nah, bro, we've been talking for like over an hour, man. So I mean, let's just go ahead and wrap this up. Do you want to give out like your social media for people to hit you up?
yeah, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter, Breeze_305. I don't really use it much, but if you hit me up, I'll respond. I'm more on Instagram, Breeze305, no underscore. No, I don't really post a lot about personal stuff. I try to keep my page very professional. So if you want to hit me up about music, if you want to collaborate, do something, I'm open to it. Just when you present it to me, just present it in a way to where it's mutually beneficial and not just, hey, I do music, check out my music, I'm awesome, I can do XYZ, and I think that if we work together, I would benefit from you helping me. Like, yeah.
Word.
Try to keep it mutually beneficial. Like, what's the other side? Because the only reason why I say that is because an artist hit me up the other day, and he told me that somebody recommended me to him to hit up to collaborate. And he's like, yo, I'm from out of state, but I'm gonna be in Miami this weekend. Let's link. And I said, well, I don't really link with people I don't really know. I was like, who recommended you? Do you have a budget? Like, what are you trying to do? Like, I'm not just gonna meet with a complete stranger. And he's like, nah, bro. He's like, I'm just trying to network with people who love music as much as I do. I'm like, bro, you don't have to come all the way down to Florida to find people who love music as much as you do. There's probably people in your own community who love it just as much. They probably just don't have the resources to make whatever happen. And he's like, no, but, you know, Miami is such a big market. I want to network and, you know, I want to get people behind me. I was like, the way to get people behind you is to show them that you have a plan. You know, show them that this is your plan to get to where you're trying to go, but also you have a plan that benefits the individuals that get involved. This is why I keep saying mutually beneficial. If you're going to make a team, if you're going to reach out to an A&R, an executive, a label owner, a label in general, why should that person take the time to invest time, money, and resources into you to help you become bigger if there's nothing that they can benefit from it? Like, because at the end of the day, this is the music business, and a lot of people put emphasis on the first word, music, but they completely ignore the second word, business. This is a business. So how are we gonna make some money by us working together? I can't depend on your 2 downloads on SoundCloud and your 36 streams on Spotify to put some money in my pocket, because if you look at the numbers, if your record streams 1 million times on Tidal, we get 12 grand back. If your video streams 1 million times on YouTube, we get maybe 400 or 500 back. So the amount of money that it takes to invest, how can we get that back?
Yeah.
You can't guarantee that. So you have to think of other methods of how we can mutually benefit each other, because I got bills, I got things I got to pay for, I got a family, so I can't just depend on you being talented to facilitate these things that are priority.
Yeah, and in their minds, they're like, well, what more do you need? I thought talent, like that's what I'm bringing to the table. What are you bringing to the table? You're making money off of my talent. Exactly.
But then look at it from a label standpoint. If you get signed to a label, right, they give you $1 million, right? They're not just giving you that $1 million for free.
Nah, for sure.
That $1 million has to go into everything that you got to do.
And then you got to make that back and then some.
Exactly.
For them. And then you start making money.
Exactly. So if they put you on tour, that costs them something. If they put you in the studio with a big producer, that costs them something. Publicity, digital marketing, that costs them something. Styling, that costs them something. Everything that goes behind the scenes to make an artist visible and viable in mainstream music, it costs.
It's funny, like man, if I got offered to sign to a major label, like I would go so fucking hard, bro. I would go so hammer, Like I kind of already am going pretty hammer, like within my own means, but like I don't have the resources that a major label can provide,
Well,
so like I mean, on the level that is like popping up on the radar. You feel me?
I agree, but like I've always told you, you got to build a team, because Art has always been one of the most self-sufficient artists that I've ever worked with, and I always applaud his work ethic to do all these things himself. But like I've always told you, you can't be the person in front of the camera, the person holding the camera, the person pitching to media, the person styling, the person, like you can't do everything yourself.
It's that, what it is now, man, like because the thing is that I went from reaching out to you to represent me and doing all, like I went from feeling entitled to get representation to like now I'm like, look man, like I'm almost like a little scarred from not being able to accomplish what I thought I was going to be able to accomplish working with you, with Nixon. Whereas now I'm kind of like completely by myself, and I'm like, I just don't want to waste anyone's time if things don't go a certain way. So I feel weird reaching out to people, and I've had some people like hit me up like, yo, I do videos, I'm down to rock with you, and I'm like, yo, don't bark up this tree, man. Like
yeah, you gotta do it. You gotta collaborate. Like you gotta because you don't know who that director knows that they can pitch in your direction. But you don't know the outlets that person has access to. Like,
but I'm saying, like, you get what I'm saying. Like, I went from feeling entitled to everyone to rock with me, to everyone to stand behind me, to everything that I went through being like, yo, like, bro, like, truthfully, like, in the grand scheme of things, like, I ain't shit, bro. Like, let me not sell some pipe dream to somebody until I am truly making some moves. You just gotta be upfront and honest with people. Tell them like, listen, if I can pay you, I can pay you. If I can't, I can't. But I can provide this in return, like barter. Like you're an independent artist, just like the next man. They may trust me. There's tons of artists that I can name off the top of my head who don't have money to do a lot of the things that they are portraying that they're doing, but because they barter with people or they've established relationships with people to where if this person does work for free, they're getting something in return. And as long as you make
the situation mutually beneficial for both parties, then those individuals should understand, because that director needs content just like you need a video. Now, if you can say, all right, I can get the video on this platform because I have this relationship, well, I can recommend this director to work with other people, and those people will pay. So now you're bringing him clientele. So now you're putting money in his pocket. That's mutually beneficial. Hey, I can't pay you, but my homies need videos, and they'll pay. Or, hey, producer, I can't pay for this, but I could do this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, bartering. Like for a while I was offering that too. Like, yo, look, do this for me, and I'll hook you up with a video or a photo shoot or I'll mix your songs, man. Or
you got to. You gotta give people something. If you can't do it from a financial standpoint, and I'm not saying that's the best route to take. Obviously, people would love to get paid for something.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that you need to create what I've mentioned before, Team Morera, to help you get to the next plateau. Even if it's just getting you to a point to where you can tour off of your music, or just to build your audience online. That the closest person that when people ask me, who's an artist that you would compare Art Morera to, I say Mac Miller. So I tell them, Mac did it. It's possible. But Mac had a team.
Right.
No artist is ever going to make it in this business by themselves, even if they're self-sufficient on everything. You can produce, mix, master, direct, rap, all that. Someone has to fight for you. Someone has to go to bat for you. And when it comes to these label meetings, when it comes to these marketing meetings, when it comes to anything pertaining to business in the music business, you got to have someone going to bat for you. You got to have people fighting for you in the streets for attention, online, through these streaming services. It's all one big fight. So you got to have people fighting for you. So that's all I really got to say about that.
Word. Hey, man, I really appreciate it, bro. Thank you for coming through Breeze, man. And getting on the mic. These are the types of conversations we have anyway, but this time we're on the mic so everyone can hear these gems that you be dropping. But look, all right, guys, that was episode 21, Medianoche podcast. If you haven't heard my project Transit City, which is on all streaming platforms, let me get me up to that 1 million streams, man, so I can get that $12,000. You know what I'm saying?
On Tidal, just Tidal.
All right, y'all. We out of here though, man. We out of here. All right. Peace.
Peace.
Medianoche.
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 Podcast.
Medianoche.
Podcast.
Medianoche.
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 Podcast.